The Indian Seats Trail at Sawnee Mountain Preserve is a 3.6 mile loop near Cumming, Georgia, with 515 feet of elevation gain. It's a moderately challenging hike, and it takes about an hour and a half to complete. The trail leads to the Indian Seats, which is a historic rock formation, and it's been in use by Native Americans for centuries. It's been used for different ceremonies and as a lookout, and the Indian Seats has stunning views of the North Georgia mountains.
I consider this kind of like a cardio nature trail. It's pretty busy usually. It's never not busy from what I've seen. And you know, people like to sort of walk and chat. It's sort of a suburban trail. Still good though. Still in line with preserving green space and educating about green space, which they definitely do here. A lot of field trips come here, which is great. Any place with a sign that says Ferry Trail is a good place, okay? So let's all remember that. Now let's go take a look at this gazebo. Alright, as you summit the hill after the parking lot, you'll see a green blaze off to your left for the Indian Seats Trail. So don't go on the Ferry Trail, come on the Indian Seats Trail. The trail's fairly steep, not bad, but definitely well marked. As you get up here, you can see there's an alternate parking lot, Indian Seats Visitor Center, which is where we started from, and we're headed to Indian Seats. So it's late autumn, late fall here in North Georgia, Northeast Georgia. It feels like winter. It's been in the 30s. It's been pretty cold. We are getting kind of used to warmer falls and warmer winters here in Georgia, unfortunately. But yeah, it's still technically autumn. Feels like winter. We don't get a lot of snow here. We were supposed to get a little bit last night, allegedly, but it never came. I don't know if you can hear it. There's definitely a Carolina wren calling in the distance. I love this tree. It looks like a fork. It's like a trident tree. Ooh, big old tree down. You can see those are my hiking poles fully extended, and I'm 6'1". And yeah, just check this out. But yeah, look at that. A tree down. That's cool. All right, and here you can see that's the tree that fell. And they have, ooh, that was me that almost fell right there too. And they've cut it so you can get down the path easier. Very easy path, by the way. I'd rate this as easy. I wouldn't even call it moderate. I mean, it's kind of steep-ish. The penalty for error at the end is steep, no pun intended. But there is a big cliff at the end. But the trail itself is very well marked, very well maintained. It's beautiful though, I will say that. As much as this is sort of a suburban hiking trail, and I would call it a sort of suburban green space, which are very important considering how much development goes up around them. It's beautiful. Although I don't know if you can hear the road in the distance. So I can hear traffic in the distance off to my right, which would be to the north. Okay, we walk into the sun here. Let's talk a little bit more about the Sawnee Nature Preserve. It is located in Cumming, Georgia. So it's about 40 miles north of Atlanta. It is 963 acres. So it has sort of scenic spaces, right? Preserve nature, hiking trails, visitor center, and a couple other recreational areas. Obviously we come mostly for the scenic hiking and the Indian Seats. This is where it gets really interesting. It's named after a local Cherokee Indian leader named Sawnee, who was helpful to the settlers when they came to this region. So the Indian seats that we're coming up on are a natural rock formation, and people think they've been in use for centuries, for ceremonial purposes, for lookout purposes. It's just sort of a natural area that any curious human being would gravitate towards. And in the 1800s, this area was part of the short-lived gold rush in the state of Georgia. And so there's actually abandoned mines throughout the area. And here is one of the old gold mines. Ooh, I think that was just a little bird or a bat that just flew out actually. I'm not sure which one. But yeah, you can see here's an old gold mine. I don't have my light with me, so I can't stick my Insta in there, but there's an old gold mine. Very cool. So if you're maybe looking to strike it rich, maybe you could come out here and do some prospecting. All right, we're gonna do some hiking, and we'll see y'all at the top. The higher we go on the trail, the rockier and rockier it's gotten. I believe we stay to the left here. We go left?
Yes.
Or we go straight?
He said every branch take a left.
Alright, check out this gnarly tree. Whenever you see something like this, it lets you know for sure. You might not be on the right trail, but you're on a trail, and that's what's important. We have now connected. Now, here's the real question. Or right. We're going left. Take nothing but lefts. This is like exactly why we do this. Look at this nice little grove of baby pine trees coming up. And wow, look at that. I believe that is either Kennesaw or Stone Mountain way off in the distance there. I'm gonna say I think it's Stone Mountain. I'm gonna have to look at a map. We went from sort of riding around in the suburbs, parking at the visitor center, to bam, we're at the top of a baby mountain? Do we call this a mountain?
A hill.
A very large hill.
It's not even a large hill.
It's a nice hill, a substantial hill.
It's a hill.
Some people are gonna be,
Mountain folk call this a hill.
let's just say there's some controversy. We'll say there's some controversy about the ranking. I tell you what, that'll be the question of the day. The question of the day: does Sawnee Mountain Nature Preserve qualify as a mountain or a hill? And I'll try to find the elevation and put that up on the screen and maybe in the description. So I should hopefully have the elevation of this mountain, baby mountain.
Hill.
And so yeah, that's the question of the day, people. Does this qualify as a hill or a mountain? So once you sort of get to the top, right where you fully ascend, it's just a la carte, choose your own adventure. There's a bunch of trails. If you keep going, this is eventually going to sort of crest and take you back towards the visitor center, but there's a lot to explore up here. So why don't we go explore and see what's up at the top? So you can see this is kind of where it gets its namesake from. These are all very seat-like up here. It's lots of places just to chill out. If you're really brave, you can sit right here, dangle your legs, even more up there, and then just look. I mean, this feels like a North Georgia version of Simba and the Lion King. You can see so far. It's amazing. also see so far down. Dawsonville, Georgia off in the distance. Sassafras Mountain off in the distance. What a great word, sassafras. And Blood Mountain, Dahlonegah's over there. And last but not least, the highest point in Georgia, Brasstown Bald. Very cool. So going back to our question of the day, in the United States, apparently, there's not an official height for a mountain, okay? The general consensus, though, is that 2,000 feet is a mountain, and unfortunately, Sawnee is only 1,946 feet. So, I mean, do we stack some rocks to make it a couple feet higher so we can round up from 50? And even then, that would only get us, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so close to 2,000 feet. Miss Tazumi, though, wanted to point something else out about all these mountains in the distance. And what is it you would like to point out about all these mountains in the distance?
That they are all over 2,000 feet, as a proper mountain should be.
So, I think her point is this is a very large hill and not a mountain. Honestly, I'm going to say it's a mountain, and that's my hill to die on. I'm going to say that it's a mountain. Because, I mean, again,
Why it's your hill.
1,946 feet. Let's call it a mountain. It's a baby mountain. It could still be growing. So that's what we don't know. So here we go. But yeah, beautiful views up here from Sawnee Mountain.